Folks, thank you for your patience, everyone, while we covered a few items in the back. It is 7:52. Let's get called to order. This meeting is started. If everybody could please rise and pledge the flag. Thank you very much. And roll call, please, Angela.
Saba Al-Zayed.
Here.
Amy High.
Here.
Megan Nolan.
Here.
Diane Gundrum.
Here.
Tony Heil.
Here.
Kyle Schenk.
Here.
Mr. President, as you mentioned, we were in executive session from approximately 6:45 to approximately 7:50 with regard to personnel issues as well as potential litigation.
Thank you, Mr. Bello. With that said, let's turn it over to Mr. Truman.
All right, good evening, everybody. First up on the agenda for council consideration is the approval of the July 18th, 2023 meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Motions from Ms. Nolan, seconded by Ms. Gundrum to approve the July 18th minutes. Questions or comments from council or the public on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up on the agenda for council consideration, appointment to the vacancy for the Ward 1 council seat.
And this is, the process here is open the floor for nominations. Oh, okay.
Can I do?
Well, we have to open the, make a motion to open the floor for nominations.
Okay, I would like to make the motion to open the floor for nominations.
I'll second.
So that's from Ms. High, seconded by Ms. Al-Zayed to open the floor for nominations to the council seat. Questions or comments before we do that? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the floor is open for nominations.
I would like to nominate Laura Hauk to this seat.
I'll second.
The nominations from Ms. High, seconded by Ms. Nolan to nominate Laura Hauk of 2nd Street to the Ward 1 council seat. Any other nominations? The floor is still open. All right, I don't hear any, so we would entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
Mr. Heil made the motion. Ms. Al-Sayed seconded. All right, the floor is closed. We do have one nomination on the floor that was seconded for Ms. Laura Hauk. We'll just call that vote. I don't think we have to go and do name by name because we only have one nominee. So we would need a vote to approve that nomination, I believe. A motion to approve that nomination.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Ms. Al-Zayed, second by Ms. Nolan. All those in favor of appointing Ms. Hauk to that Ward 1 council seat?
Aye.
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 Opposed? I hear none. That's unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody, and congratulations, Mrs. Hauk. And as far as the process goes, that is we just voted on a resolution to appoint you to the council seat. Now, before you're up here and do the official legal stuff, we'll have to get sworn in. So anytime between now and the next meeting, or more likely, maybe at the beginning of the next meeting, we can do a swearing-in ceremony. We could. I don't think we're prepared for it. I don't think we printed anything out. And I spoke to Laura before the meeting and said we'll probably wait until the next meeting to do the swearing-in. We're fine.
I intentionally didn't.
Yeah. No, we'll wait until the next meeting. We have time.
Apparently, we need a judge, so you can just name whatever Supreme Court justice.
Well, to be fair, I think the mayor can do it.
Get your
too.
wallet out.
All right, everyone. Thank you, and thank you. And we have. Well, I guess you're going to be on council, so maybe you want to stay and watch the rest of the agenda. But you certainly don't have to.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna take this crew out of here. I was gonna ride solo, but next week, from now on, I'm all yours.
Thanks, Laura.
Photos next week then?
Yeah, let's do photos next weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll wear a nice shirt. See you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next up for council consideration, promotion of wastewater treatment plant employee John Zaremski to the classification of C2 skilled laborer.
I'll make the motion to promote.
I'll second.
Motion from Mr. Heil, seconded by Ms. Al-Zayed, I believe, to promote Mr. Zaremski. Any other questions or comments on the matter? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Congratulations to Mr. Zaremski.
Next up, for council consideration, adoption of additional supplemental job descriptions within the Police Personnel Policy Handbook. Members of council, you considered and voted to adopt the Police Personnel Handbook last meeting. In the interim, previous few weeks, Chief Beretta forwarded to me some supplemental documents that also need to be adopted into the handbook. I believe they are comprised basically of some job descriptions of more specialist positions within the department, as well as the code of conduct. Is there anything else, Chief, that is in there?
No, that was it. There was one for written directives, and the rest are job descriptions.
Thank you.
Does this help with any legal liability or cleaning up anything important? I mean, I looked at it, but is there anything in particular?
Yeah, I think it clarifies some job descriptions and it needed to be done.
Well, I'll make the motion to adopt the supplemental descriptions.
I'll second.
Motion's for Mr. Heil, seconded by Ms. Gundrum, to adopt the additional supplemental job descriptions. Questions or comments from council or the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Thank you.
All right, very good. Moving on. For council consideration, authorization to purchase from Clark Equipment Company a new skid steer in the amount of $53,463.05. Members of council, this was a purchase that was authorized in the 2023 capital projects budget. We recently took possession of the skid steer, as was delineated in the terms of the invoice and the sales agreement. However, whenever we have purchases of this dollar amount, this magnitude, I always like to get them in front of council for a public vote, public authorization.
I'll make a motion to purchase.
I'll second.
Motion's for Mr. Heil, seconded by Ms. Nolan, to authorize the purchase of the skid steer. Are there additional questions or comments from council or the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Thank you.
For council consideration, authorization to purchase from New Holland Auto Group a 2023 Ford F-350 with lighting rack. The total combined price for both the rack and the truck are $58,480, and this purchase would be coming from the Liquid Fuels Fund. Members of council, we've had a fortuitous last handful of years where the cost, several of the expenses that we historically or typically spend liquid fuels monies on. And for a reminder, liquid fuels monies are monies that we get from the state MS 965 program, specifically allocated from the fuel, gasoline and diesel surcharges and taxes that the state imposes on consumers, and then turns back over to municipalities. We get somewhere in the vicinity of $110,000 to $120,000 a year. We spend it on a variety of different expenses. One of those most expensive cost allocations is for road salt, and we've had a good couple of years where we didn't have to buy a lot of road salt. We were able to bank some of our money to the point where we have a spare amount of money in this region right here, $58,000, where we can spend it on purchasing a new truck rather than expending general fund or capital fund monies on it. So I think that it would be a prudent move to save the general fund money and the capital fund monies that have a far wider variety of eligible expenses we could appropriate that to, and spend the liquid fuels money on something we can use it on, which is a new truck.
Does this replace an old truck or is it just a new addition?
It does replace an old truck. We actually, a couple meetings ago, Councilwoman High, council voted to authorize us to dispose of a truck via auction. We just recently did that, so.
Great. Sure, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
The motion's from Ms. High, seconded by Mr. Heil, to authorize the purchase of the F-350. Questions or comments from council on the truck? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, that's unanimous.
All right, very good. Next up, for council consideration, authorization of the annual donation to the Montgomery County Public Library in the amount of $500.
I'll make the motion to authorize the donation.
I'll second.
The motion was made by Ms. Gundrum, seconded by Mr. Heil, to authorize the donation to the Montgomery County Library. Questions or comments from council?
Just a comment that I think people underestimate all they can do with the public library. For example, as a library member, you get a free subscription to the Philadelphia Inquirer. You can use that by going on their website, and you get language learning software to help learn. I didn't know that either until yesterday. I knew about the Inquirer subscription. So you can. It's not the same as having a regular online subscription, but there are so many benefits. So with this $500, we're giving every resident in Bridgeport with computer access, which they can get at the library, a lot more than they bargained for and understand.
Mr. Heil, that's a great summary. It sounds like somebody who regularly speaks with a librarian. Any other questions or comments? And I do second Mr. Heil's comments. I enthusiastically support.
I'll also say that I attend a lot of their kids' events now that my kid's in kindergarten, and they are a lot more well-attended than I was expecting. They're really well put on with a couple of different people working them, so it's really impressive, and definitely encourage everybody to attend and benefit from them as well.
Any other questions and or comments? All right, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Go Libraries.
And moving on to, for council consideration, approval of the bills and salaries for the month of August 2023.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion was from Ms. Nolan, I believe, seconded by Ms. High to pay the people. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous then. Please pay the people.
Moving on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports to share this evening?
I'll make an announcement for the Community Events Committee this Saturday, Saturday the 19th. We will be showing The Wizard of Oz in the Borough parking lot. I will be there manning the popcorn machine. Sunset is set for 7:53, and it's going to be a beautiful evening, so please come join me in watching a classic movie out in the parking lot.
I'll add on to that with one more event. Planning is going on for the Bridgeport 5K on September 30th at Rotundo Riverfront Park. I believe signups just opened up, so you can go on there and register. So we hope to see you guys there.
I got my sign-up email today.
Oh, and I guess also just one thing real quick, speaking of the 5K and speaking on behalf of the Sustainability Committee, we will be having our Fall Cleanup Day Saturday, September 23rd. There's just traditionally, I always like to do a cleanup around town the week before the 5K. So more information is forthcoming, but join us that Saturday morning for cleanup.
All right, thank you both. Seeing no further committee reports, we can proceed to the mayor's report. Mayor Jaxier.
Thank you. Firstly, if you weren't able to attend Bridgeport's first pet fair on July 22nd, you certainly missed out. We had the most adorable fun with really exciting pets, local vendors and resources, pet competitions for some of Bridgeport's best dog friends. In the best trick category, Georgie, she took home the gold with her trick of sit. And in the best costume category, Pretzel won with his pineapple costume, Bailey won with her spider costume, and Xander won with his skunk costume. So it's very exciting and adorable. It was really fun, and I can't wait until next year's event. So if you're still looking for your new best furry pal, please consider checking out our partners, who are the Brandywine Valley SPCA and PALS. And you can actually support PALS in the extra way of ordering food from their attached restaurant, the Black Cat Cafe. Here they've got amazing food, and all their proceeds support the shelter, which is pretty exciting. If you haven't heard yet, tomorrow night is Bridgeport Night Out, starting at 6 p.m. As always, there will be family fun for all ages, including local community resources, live music, free food, raffles, and more to help promote relations between our residents and police department. So we have an amazing team of officers right now, so please come out and introduce yourself and have a fun-filled and free evening. Earlier this month, I stopped by the Keene Agency of Farmers Insurance. They're on the 400 block of Ford Street, and I chatted with John Keene himself about his job, the state of insurance in these changing times, and just life around Bridgeport. I learned a lot from my visit, so make sure to stop by and ask him any insurance questions you might have. He's licensed in home, auto, business, and life insurance, so he's a great and trusted resource. And he's actually going to be our DJ for Night Out tomorrow, so you, I'm sure, can ask him any insurance-related questions while you're there. And finally, I'll be holding my monthly office hours in my office, which is on the first floor of Borough Hall, and that'll be on Thursday, August 24th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. I hope to see y'all there. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. Moving on to the Chief's report. Chief Beretta.
Good evening, everyone. We've had some traffic complaints, and I just want to remind everyone, if you do, you see some violations, whether it's stop sign, traffic light, or anyone else, please call. You can call 911. You can call the non-emergency number of 610-272-5661. We'll always reprioritize. Never hesitate to call because you're afraid that we're busy. We're busy, we're waiting for the next call, so don't be afraid to call. So most recently, we've had calls for Union Avenue, Depot Street, and Ford Street. And we talk about Ford Street, we're talking about the preparation for school. School's right around the corner. We'll see more traffic signs back out on Ford Street. We're having a crossing guard training next week. I'm looking for additional crossing guards. I just got an application for another part-time fill-in crossing guard. And we'll be going over all the basics for crossing guard training next week. So you'll see more police officers out, police cars in different locations on Ford Street and signage over the next couple weeks to keep our children safe. Also be planning to shadow school buses as they go through the borough, just to remind people that stop for school buses. If not, then you'll get stopped because of the school bus. Some great things. 5 years ago when I came here, was talking about transitioning to a different record system, and we're having a demonstration for that record system where we won't have to pay, the borough won't have to pay a whole bunch of money to do that. I won't need a capital expenditure, so hopefully I'll be able to report back to the mayor and council about that demonstration. You would have seen recently the arrest of Linda Marcy for $1.3 million theft with Sunline. And that person is out on bail right now. And Jaquan Boone, who fled from police, got in an accident and was taken into custody. He is released on bail. So we thank the public's help, especially with Mr. Boone's case with video. And we ask people, so we'll occasionally put something out, check your Ring videos. It's helped us in numerous cases, including one we have a trial date set for Mr. Al Crawford from a vehicular accident, hit and run accident, and it was in many cases because of the public's assistance with evidence that makes for good prosecutions. So thank everyone for all of their assistance in those cases. We have our National Night Out tomorrow, so we look forward to seeing as many people as possible out. And also we'll be conducting some additional training for our water rescue and with our firearms training here within the next 3 weeks.
Chief, last meeting I mentioned about the school bus route because a resident had said that they were not sure if there were enough people on the route to make sure that people were safe going to the middle school. Is that taken care of, or is that coming up soon?
We actually did an assessment, so we don't have the name of the person, we don't have a phone number. We went back and forth through the school district to see if someone made a complaint or an issue with the school district about the bus and the bus stops. So we went through that trying to collate the information to see if we can come up with the person who had the issue, and we couldn't. That being said, I talked with Upper Merion Police and see how they're handling it with their school bus stops as well, to see how should we assess that. So if we do have something that comes through either the school district or through us, we ask you to bring it back, and then we'll make an assessment there. I can say that in the area of Ford Street and Rambo Street, we're going to put up some pylons there. We had one initially there, so we'll start off with that. And the second we have somebody else there with a name and a person, et cetera, that we can talk about it, then we'll make an assessment. And the first week, we're also, because we're going to shadow the school buses, so then we'll see about the foot traffic that comes from there, just to make sure.
I really appreciate it. If on police social media as the school year starts, just letting people know, because that gets shared on the PTC page and other things too, so just letting people know what to expect would be really helpful.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Chief. Moving on to new business. Are there any items of new business to discuss this evening?
You know, I should have done this at the beginning of the meeting. I didn't, but I'll do it now with new business. Actually, well, no, we'll do it now. A lot of you know, folks that are watching right now, and obviously everyone behind the dais, Ms. Gina Blasevich of 5th Street recently passed away. She, my understanding, is a lifelong Bridgeport resident, a long-time volunteer with events in town, particularly Election Day. She was a very reliable, my understanding is 50 years volunteering at the polls to help with elections in Bridgeport. And what I did recently learn is that she was the first female to run for mayor of Bridgeport, which is an impressive fact. So I would ask everybody if we could take a moment right now, just a moment of silence and memorial for Ms. Blasevich. Thanks, folks. And to the family, the Blasevich family on 5th Street, our sympathies and our thoughts are certainly with you. Thank you, Mr. Truman.
Thank you, Mr. Schenk. Any other items of new business for this evening? All right, seeing none, moving on to open forum and announcements. Are there any announcements to make this evening? I will make one minor announcement. There will be, obviously at this point, everybody is familiar with the riverfront development and the primary construction entrance down at the end of Ford Street, where Ford and Front intersect by the railroad tracks. While that is and will remain the primary construction entrance, especially for the delivery of materials and whatnot for that part of the development, there will be a second minor construction entrance opening up at the very end of Mill Street. This secondary construction entrance will be for specifically Lennar, the home builder, and their subcontractors, to receive materials so that they do not have to send trucks across a potentially muddy, dirty site that does not have all of the road network built yet, which could ultimately traipse a lot more mud and debris back out onto the streets than any of us want. And considering how much dirt they've had to contend with dragging out on the street to begin with, this it could be potentially worse than that. So within the next I'd say 1 to 2 weeks, this construction entrance will open up. It will only be in effect for about 8 weeks or until Depot Street is paved and connected all the way through so that they can start using the network of streets to drive on and for the delivery of materials. But yes, for about 8 weeks, the end of Mill Street will be used as a secondary, smaller construction entrance. They will have a street sweeper on duty monitoring that site or that entry to keep it clean. We certainly don't want a repeat or an exacerbation of the dirt that we had to contend with throughout the spring and summer coming off of Ford Street. So I just wanted to put that note out to the public. Seeing no other announcements, we could move to public comment. And given the fact that we have no public to comment this evening, council could entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, everybody, it's 8:18. We are adjourned. Thank you for your attention. We will see you next time. Stay safe.